Piling is not organizing. Got a problem. Look at all this stock here. Hex stock, whole bunch of different sizes to add to my collection. And it's in my chair. No place to sit. And here's where I normally keep it all. Right here under the old gray lady, the Atlas 10-inch quick change lathe. And I've got tools and stuff mixed in here. This has become a mess. I got to organize this better. I just can't bring myself to pile it up anymore. So here's what I designed. I call this my Atlas stock rack. And it fits under my lathe really nicely. And this is a front view of what it will look like. Something like this. Here's the end panels. Here's the bottom. Here is the back. And then these are the various pieces that form these dividers. And this will give me 7 pockets to sort my gear out in with one large wide one. And something else to note, I have the ends and all the pieces designed, these pieces here, and the ends, all designed so that I can lay stock across the top of it that's too long to go in it. I took this file, sent it to the laser cutter, and got it cut out of 10mm Baltic birch ply, and here's what it looks like. So I've done several cabinetry-like projects with this material in the past, and as part of my business, I make things out of materials like this for a living. So I've got a little bit of experience. We're actually going to finish this material first before we glue it together. But we should trial fit it and make sure everything fits together good. So this is the bottom piece. And let's stack, see if I can remember how to do this. This tab goes in the back. So that's how we tell the difference in front to back for these pieces. And let's see, got one more. And this middle piece is the same as the back piece. And you'll notice this joinery here is designed a little bit differently. That's so both the bottom and the top piece can tab and locate in. And I have some of these pieces designed with holes, and that's in case I want to use screws to kind of hold it together while the glue dries. I don't know whether I'll do that or not. And last but not least, here's the back. Wow. So look at there, I got a mistake. I think I'll just trim one of these. I can still use this part. Yep, so it won't go together because of this misalignment here, and the same mistake is here and here. So I'm going to have to trim these parts, trim these tabs off a little bit, and then it'll fit together. Since I'm not making this product to sell, I'm not going to correct that mistake. If I was selling this product, we would have to go back to the drawing board, get a corrected part, and make sure everything fit perfectly. Let's get it trimmed up. Just like that.
Because I broadcast on the holidays.
There we go. Ah, I got an extra hole here. Here's another mistake. I'll have to fix that if I decide to sell these as channel support item. So boom, there you go. Now it's all fitting together good. We've got to take it apart and stain it. I sorted through my flathead, mostly wood screws there. Came up with plenty of screws for all these. And we're getting them countersunk. Knocked it all down. Now we're going to stain it. I'm going to use this Minwax. I like to do actual staining and polyurethaning. I don't like the poly shades and the other things that are basically tinted clear coats. We're going to get this baby stained up. This is Colonial Maple. It's just something I had left over for another project years ago. Well shook. You got to be careful with finishes, wadding the rags up and throwing them in the trash. Some finishes dry by oxidizing, and the oxidation process creates heat. And so if I were to put all these in a tight bundle, the heat could possibly build up and cause a fire. So I've spread all these rags out so they can't have any accumulation of any thermal energy. This is where they'll stay. Tomorrow, I'll come test them. If they're dry, I'll throw them away, but not until then. Meanwhile, all my parts are on the ground, and we're going to wait on them to dry, and we'll get to assembly. Now, the awesome thing about staining my materials before I glue it together is I don't have to worry about getting glue on the wood, because later when I polyurethane it won't show. But if I got glue out here in the wood, then the stain wouldn't take there, and I'd have white wherever the glue had been, wherever I had wiped it off. So this will look a lot better. And I'm really not trying to make a piece of furniture here, but I just wanted it to look a little bit nice and be a little bit decent. And I'm going to be putting oil on the materials that I put in here, and I don't want that stain creeping through all the wood. So this will keep it kind of a little more consistent appearance. So when I get done gluing this, I'll go over it with a wet cloth and take care of things like that. And you can use, I like aliphatic resin glues. This is Titebond 3. And just a bottle of glue I happen to have. I mostly use Titebond 1. It's not water resistant, like this 3 is supposed to be. But I ain't building a boat. And I got to move right along here because this stuff will start to set up pretty quickly. And keep that thing balanced or it'll flip off of there. Sure as anything. There we go. Now we're squeezing down there and there. Alright, I'm happy. Well, there's my contraption. Haven't used every clamp I got, but I sure did use a bunch of them. It'll all be dry tomorrow. The project is a series of steps. And by now it's the next morning. It's about time for me to leave to work. And I thought I'd come out here and remove the clamps. I had a heater on low blowing on this all night since it's in my garage, just to kind of keep it warm enough for the glue to set. You got to grab those clamps anytime you see them. And there's one I bought for $1. Don't even remember when I bought that, but the price tag's still there. The art of sensing a manned garage sale. So there we go. When I get back this evening, I should be able to start with the polyurethane. A couple coats of polyurethane will get us going, and we'll have a stock rack. Wonder how old that is. Oh, it looks a little better. These cheap brushes, I tell you what. They just fall apart. I don't know what it is. It seems like it's held on there, but as soon as you get the stain or the polyurethane on there, they just want to fall apart. A couple coats of this will stop the wood from taking oil stains. Now let me show you a trick you've kind of seen before, but you ain't never seen it like this. I'm going to take this piece of scrap wood here. I'm just going to lay some screws on it, and that'll keep it up off this cardboard, so I don't have to worry about it sticking to the cardboard. And yes, I put a finish up in the holes. It was miserable, but I did it. This first coat will take the most. I'll probably do, I don't know, maybe 3 coats of this. I know that's going a little overboard, but anything that's worth doing is worth overdoing. You thought you might be going to see some fine woodworking, but I'm showing you some fine oil-covered metal storage working. That's all I'm showing you. So there you go. Took 4 brushes. Only the last one held up. Alright, I went over it with some steel wool here, and that cuts all the rough edges off. And now I'm putting my second coat of polyurethane on it. And it just seems like when you're polyurethane in every coat, it just looks better and better and better. It can get hard to stop, but I don't think I'm going to do more than 3. But that finish gets to looking like it's under a layer of glass. Just gets yummier and yummier. Wish it was a little bit darker. And then each coat takes less polyurethane as well because it's not soaking in really. I think I might just have enough left for one more coat. So one of the things about clear finishes like polyurethane is wood is kind of hairy, kind of fuzzy. It's got, microscopically, it's very rough. And when you put a clear finish on it like that, it locks all those fibers in place so that when you sand it, you cut them off and make it smoother. Now, I just kind of, after the first coat of polyurethane, steel wooled this whole thing. And I didn't spend very much time on the inside here, in the roof of the inside, because, you know, you can't see it and it doesn't really matter. But this thing was rough as a cob before I started doing this. I mean, it ate up about 1/4 of this steel wool. It's all over the table here. But listen to maybe you can see the difference in the smoothness in something that's sanded and something that isn't. So this is the rough. So I'm going to hit this with steel wool. And you got to do this between coats of polyurethane. And if I kept doing this and we got to 5 or 6 coats, it would look like there was a layer of glass on here. Now if I was making a really nice toolbox or something like that, I would finish it to that level. But I'm already getting ridiculous with this project. So this is going to be my last coat of polyurethane. Getting all the surfaces. And you can see how rough, you know, because it's cutting off, you know, little bumps and stuff that remain. Look at all this metal in here. There you go. My polyurethane got it all covered so far except the inside of these. Get all the most important stuff first. Well, it's the next day. 3rd coat is dry. I'm happy with it. Let's look where we're going to put it. So here's all the stock that's taken up my seat. And here's where I've been keeping stock underneath the old gray lady here. And this is about half and half stock and tooling Maybe it's a little more stock than tooling, but I need to get all that off of there, especially in this area here, so I can get all these shafts and rods and hex stacked in our new rack. So, ooh, look at that. Armature chucks. I forget the story on how I got this. I know I bought this on eBay. Got a good deal on it, I remember that. I forget what this is. Ooh, I remember now. This tackle box here, this is one of my dad's old fishing tackle boxes. And in it are things I rescued from his shop after he died. Most of the stuff got sold, but there's some reams in here. He loved red die chem. I still have that container. So stuff I need to sort into my. Ooh, that's full of all real tiny reamers. This is all stuff I need to sort into my own Kennedy toolboxes. It's been a while since I've looked in here. I just recently bought a large tap wrench. And here I had one that I saved. I forgot about it being in there. Ah, cool. It's a Greenfield. So, here's his Minton-Toyo 0-1 caliper. And here's a Lufkin 1-2. And you got some other doodads in here. Got some long spotting drills or center drills. So, cool stuff. I need to go through it all so I can eliminate this box. Oh, that's a cool old cheese box. Hunk of steel. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. So here's a whole bunch of South Bend, is it 3AT? I forget. But a bunch of South Bend, is it AT or 3AT? I forget. South Bend collets, spindle nose protector, insert, not sure what that is. And just have to get all this stuff out of here. All threaded. These long rods are going to come into our store here. That's tooling. Ooh, piece of brass. John H. Fisher. I got this from a club member who's getting a little too old to be involved in our RC hobby. His father was a machinist, so I have some of his stuff. Piece of brass stock. Check out that piece of brass stock. 1950 to 1974. That's how long his dad was involved in machining. Gosh, I'm gonna hate to cut that up someday. Maybe it's bronze. I don't know how to tell. Some plastic. I got a funny feeling I'm going to have a full rack when I get done. This is a box I keep little cut-off pieces in. I try to make things out of here as much as possible. Oh, it hits right there. Well, it just does fit in there. So I'll have this little pocket for something. Perhaps I made it a 1/4 inch too tall. Well, I don't want to slide it all the way over there anyways. That's at an angle. It would cause me to lose some space. Overhangs this edge just a little bit. So something I've been doing this year, because I had a lot of stuff get rusty over the winter in my garage, is I've been putting 3-in-1 oil on everything. Plus, I kind of want to clean this stuff too as I put it away. Now, I realize aluminum isn't going to rust, but this is also a kind of cleaner. And the reason I'm using a restaurant napkin is it doesn't soak up a lot of the oil. They're really not very absorbent like a paper towel is. Especially these steel parts, I want to leave a little oil film on them and perhaps clean them up a little bit. Here, let's put aluminum up here and steel here. But I've noticed so far this summer and into the fall that anything I've wiped 3-in-1 oil on has not rusted. It's not a scientific test, but it's enough to make me keep doing it. Let's see, that's round stock. Here's my box of miscellaneous stuff. Or I should put that in here. Now leave it out. And when I designed this, I don't have 7 pockets for any particular reason. It was just, that's big enough I can get my hand in. And I've got one spot for big things, and I'm using the maximum amount of space I wanted to use under my lathe for this purpose. So not a whole lot of thought went into it. I guess I can put these a little bit in order. Cut myself doing this. Oh, a piece of all thread. I guess we'll put that there. Some of the steel's just steel I got, steel and aluminum pieces I got with lathes and things that I bought. But a lot of it is pieces I bought. Here's an axle out of something I took apart. Well, I can already see it. This box is going to offend my setup. Let's put it down here. So the reason this top is designed the way it is because I can put long shafts in there and have a place to keep things that are longer than these shelves are deep. Huh, this looks like an old grounding rod of some kind. Always try to use up my junkiest material first. And the things that are closest to the size I need. Yeah, let's see. We'll let our wooden dowels share that area. Here's a piece of brass pinion stock, or what you might call stem pinion. Don't remember where I got this, but put it over here with non-ferrous. Piece of key stock. I had a project in mind for this. I forget what it was now. Well, I'm starting to wish I had more dividers now. Here's another piece of key stock. Yeah. Guess I'll put it in there with the all thread. Ooh. Here's some 01 to ground stock for knife making. Well, I guess that's all on scrap metal. So there you are. There's my project. All my ready at hand materials for machining, just about all of them. I do have a junk drawer. It's got some really crappy stuff in it. I'll have to go through it and see if I want to put anything in here. But now I can find what I have. And instead of having to root through piles. Piling is not organizing. I hate to tell you that. It's not organizing. You need things kind of sorted. And roughly I have my non-ferrous area here. Hex stock. I got some wooden dowels. Probably just use those for, I don't know, drive against. I've got brass, nylon, Delrin, some phenolic, aluminum tube. I got hex steel and round stock here. I've got my short pieces of all thread and key stock in here. Got my big square chunks of material, one big piece of brass, and the rest of it is tool steel and basic steel. And then my box of miscellaneous short pieces. And I've made a lot of things out of here. Always look here first. Something else I use for organization is the shipping tube that I've got round stock and all thread and really long things in. So there you go. There's my project. Getting a little more organized in my shop. It's always wearing you down when things are piled around everywhere. So do something to organize your shop. Get your hands dirty. Get a project done. Take a positive step every week if you can, and your workshop will become more functional, more usable, and a better place to be. This is Dave on the Crafted channel. Join me again.